a really, really interesting object to look at this week, and I'd like to introduce the object's owner, Mark Rawlings.
Hi. I have questions about this piece. It's been in my family for generations, and my mother had it and was cleaning out her attic and decided that she was ready to get rid of it. And my wife and I looked it over and thought, well, maybe it has some value. And we thought we'd bring it to you to see if it's an authentic piece or not. And if it's not, we'd probably get rid of it. And if it is, and worth some money, I don't know what else.
Sentimental value.
Yeah, well, maybe, but we wanted to see if maybe it might have some other value about it. It just doesn't look too menacing. It doesn't look like it could kill anyone. And so we just weren't real sure if it was the real thing or not.
Okay, well, the skin color is
Yeah?
it's really
Yeah?
Although in the central area here, it sort of fades away.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that same deep, rich color.
Now, is that a problem?
Well, it is a problem because you normally associate that sort of inner red glow with an Indian of this period, and it doesn't have that quality. So it makes me think it might be, it might have been added later.
Oh, yeah. You don't think it's just the aging process?
No, I don't think so. No, I can go on to that hypothesis actually.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other things, and the markings here.
They look like Indian.
Well, they're sort of maybe a copy of any of the forms. That scar right here. Okay. That is to make it look authentic. It's like people distress furniture. It's the same thing. Yeah.
I thought that might be one of the most telling signs of its authenticity.
No, it's not. It's if it had a scar, there would be a balancing one over here. That would make it authentic. But the fact that it's on one side and it's above the navel instead of below the navel is a total giveaway for me, because usually the scars are below the navel.
Right.
Okay, and they're balanced either side. So.
I'm sorry to hear that. I thought, I remember a John Wayne movie once where some Indian tribe cut themselves to release the spirit into the sky. Maybe,
I could see that you might want to believe that, but John Wayne is not the best judge of
he's not.
Indian authenticity. The tattoo on the back here is not an authentic stamp.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, yeah. It should be on the bottom of the foot. Okay, not on the back.
Well, the tribe looked right to me.
Yeah, that's right. But if you notice, it's in English. It's in English. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Why would it be in English, right?
Yeah, really. So it's obviously, somebody put that on at a later period.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the loincloth idea. It's such a, we associate that with the Indian Native American, but actually, if you look really closely, you can see his boxes underneath. The main giveaway from my point of view, and I've experienced this, is that he doesn't have an aura. He doesn't have an aura which shows that his level of spiritual accomplishment is very low. And most Indians of this time had very high levels of spiritual accomplishment. So normally you would see like a rainbow aura emanating from the body, and that would be a very clear indication that he's a high being.
Yeah. My wife wondered about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's something that's a very clear indicator.
Yeah, you don't think if we were to wash it or rub it down or something, we might release that?
I know how you feel. You want this piece to be the into that stuff.
Yeah.
You might just want to accept him as he is, and just accept everything that comes, along with it. So.
Right. Well, then we didn't have a question about the facial hair. I don't know that.
Well, I hadn't really got
hair.
Well, facial hair, it's not common, but the way that it's been trimmed, I think, is a giveaway. It's too sharp on the edges. It's clear away from. It's not hanging over the lips, which is a classical kind of Indian wild man. Red Indian period. You would probably notice that the figure would be bent forward in a sort of predatorial kind of stance. Okay, and then the arms would be longer. More sort of primitive. in the whole posture of the body.
Right.
So that's an indicator. And the head is more forward, more in the sort of hunting, gathering mode. Yeah. And also, often you see these figures with their hand to their forehead, looking into the distance, looking for, new hunting grounds or whatever. But, it's sort of a mixture of pathos and a little bit of sentimentality, but mostly heroism.
Right.
So those are some pretty clear indicators for me. Yeah. And the Indian as a hero is a very important part of this particular genre. So,
yeah. Well, I didn't even think of that. And I was afraid maybe it was once that way and got knocked down when somebody moved it, or if we were to refashion it, maybe.
I sympathize. I know you want to, have this something that is of value, but actually, it's a copy. Yeah. It's definitely a copy, and it doesn't have much intrinsic value.
Yeah.
It's an interesting sort of commentary on, how we've misunderstood Indian culture, but through artifacts, but nothing more than that.
Clearly, it's not an Indian.
It's not an Indian. No. It's probably let's see. What would it be? Probably a European. No, there's no value there at all. There's probably $10 something. Yeah. But it's a nice object, and I would hold on to it. I wouldn't try, forget about the other part.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit of a disappointment.
Sure. But I appreciate you looking at it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That concludes Antiques Roadshow. Thank you very much for joining us. We're coming from Idlewild, California.
And now, let's hear what some Roadshow fans have to say.
Well, it's great to see the appraisers whom we watch on TV regularly and who we feel we practically know.
We brought a few clocks, which have been sitting in the house for some time. And as you can see, this particular clock pops off. Well, I can't really pop it off.
But we didn't know that. It came over.
We didn't even know that. We didn't even know that it's popped off.
We stood in line, and then we got tickets, and then we went up and had our appraisal. How was your appraisal, Will?
It was very good. Actually, it was for a lot more.
And by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.